Hello guys, finally back after the big move next door, getting into our new house. I've been very busy with laying floor, subfloor, remodeling kitchen. It's been very busy, so I haven't had a chance to work on my model railroad. And if you've watched any of the previous videos, you've probably noticed that this is not the same bench work that I had before. And cut this music back just a little bit. And the reason for that was we took some rough measurements before we moved in, and the open grid bench that I'd built before was about 2 feet too long. And so my thought behind that was, okay, let's get it moved over, and I'll just take 2 feet out. And when I did that, it just didn't look right. The track, some of the straight parts of the track were just way too short, and I want to get a good stretch out on the rolling stock, so you can kind of, it just makes it look more realistic. So I decided to basically, I just totally redesigned the whole thing. And this time I think instead of going with the open grid bench, I'm going to try my hand at using the L-Girder with joist bench work. I'm hoping it will provide a little bit more flexibility, perhaps a little bit more stability. And so yeah, just a quick overview of what I got so far. What I did is I went to Lowe's and bought these 8-foot 2x2s, and what I did is I mounted those to my wall joists, which are 16 inches center on. So I skipped a joist, so you've got 32 inches between each one of these pilasters, these 2x2 pilasters. And so what I then did is I bought a 1/4 inch by 2.5 inch, I believe it was, lag bolts, which you can see I've installed 3 on each pilaster. There's another one. Let's see if I can get down here. I don't know if you can see that one. Yeah, I think you can see it. Those are mounted to the joist, and really this one here is probably the most crucial, because all the stress, all the weight will be pulling more up here at the top. Pulling a little bit here too, I would imagine, but not as much as the top. So they're nice and solid. This thing's not going anywhere. For the size of the layout I'm building, I think it's going to be just fine. I'm going to have to resort to a little bit of open grid down here. Well, not even really open grid. I'm going to put some L-girders and joists down here as well. I'll show you my track plan here in just a second. But I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a lot of holes in my wood. I'm trying to salvage as much as I possibly can, just simply because wood's expensive. Not to mention the time it takes to go and shop for it and load it and bring it and all that. So as you can see, I'm even trying to repurpose my plywood here. I've removed the foam, used a spackle knife for that, about like a 3-inch spackle knife. It actually came off pretty easy. That's the remnants of liquid nails you see right there. So just with a little elbow grease, it came off just fine. For this particular layout, I'm going to use a cookie cutter method again. So I'm just going to flip the board over when I get my track laid out and proceed, because I want different elevations, obviously for a little bit more realism. As I'll show you on the plan here in a second, I'm going to have a little river running through here. I'm going to scratch build 2 trestles, and I may even scratch build all 4 trestles. I think it's 4 tracks crossing there, but I can get into all that later. As you can see right now, attached to the pilaster, I have these arm braces here, these 1x3 arm braces, and down here As you can see, I've got these 8" by 8" gussets that I built out of this particle board I had laying around. It's not quite a 1/2 inch. I wouldn't recommend it for anything really heavy, but seeing as how this is such a small piece and they're doubled up, the strength on these things is just incredible. There's no way this thing's going to be pulled away from the wall. Right now I do have a little bit of play, I don't know if you can see that, side to side, and that's just simply because I don't have the L-Girders mounted yet. Like this L-Girder here, I'm going to have some risers, 1x2 risers coming up between each one of the arm braces, and these will attach to those risers, and then from there, this one here will be flipped up like this. I don't know if I can get it to stay. There we go. And then on top of there, I'm going to have my get one here. My 1x2 joist will go across like that. Haven't decided on the spacing yet. Well, here at the river, they're probably going to be more like this at an angle, so I can get the riverbed in. But yeah, so that's the plan. And then of course, to the front of the joist here is where I'm going to attach the fascia. So I'm going to build a control panel and basically an area, a little area there to operate the train for operations. I'm going to do that from the get-go this time. Last time I kind of waited to try to do it, and I found I was trying to make stuff work, and I just don't think that's the way to do it. I think if you plan up front, I think it's a lot better. It goes a lot easier. Up here again, I've got these gussets here, and I've got these 1x3 braces coming out. As you can see, one of them's a lot longer than the other. And the reason for that is because I'm going to be mounting fluorescent shop lights. I think I'm going to mount 3 at least along this section. Maybe 1 coming out there. And do all the wiring on that. And then across the top,